Oh my. Burner. Mm-hmm. Burner. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, look what we have here. We've got a beard. What does that say? El Jefe beard. 3 times El Jefe beard. Subscribe to El Jefe's channel to use the El Jefe beard in chat along with 4 more of the emotes. It's looking good. Got the the like mouth you put there though. I thought at first it was like, but it's like. Hello.
Hello.
Holy shit! It's the 2nd episode.
Welcome back.
Coming to you live. We got Pixated, so we got YZ in here as is watching so far.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess we didn't really plan this one out as far as what to talk about, but when the fuck has that ever stopped us before?
What? What are you talking about? We spent hours of prep.
I just fucked us. I outed us. Bob the dog, says Wisey.
That was Bob's theme song.
Hell yeah. We need to get that made into an actual theme song. We need a fucking we need a logo and a theme song for this podcast. Fans of the podcast, start thinking we'll have a contest. Okay, so
what are the fans called?
What are the buddy? I don't know. We'll have to
Buddy Boys?
Buddy It can't get any better than that. It's the Buddy Boys. Ah! um. Okay, so I don't know. The Buddy Boys. Jesus, right off the top of your head, man. You're firing on all cylinders. Here we go. Buddy Boys. Okay. Hashtag, yeah, get the hashtag Buddy Boys going. So I guess let's start off. Did you see the James Bond trailer?
Yeah, I just watched it.
Nice. What'd you think?
Looks pretty James Bondy.
Yeah. I actually like how they showed a what was it? Oh, hello?
Oh, did I lose you?
There for a second, I think it disconnected, but you're back. I liked how they had a chase scene that they actually fucking let everyone see. Unlike Quantum of Solace, where it was like a fucking shit show at the beginning of that movie.
They mounted the camera like in the wrong direction, so you couldn't see what was happening.
It was like Cloverfield style. I was like, go. But yeah.
Yeah, it looked like there was a real stunt, like him jumping off a bridge. A real stunt man doing a stunt.
Yeah, I liked that, and I liked they're bringing back Blofeld.
Yeah. Yep,
and
I was happy to
like
see that.
he was like locked up, Dr. Evil style. Which obviously I guess Dr. Evil is based off him, but you know what I mean. Like he's like in that like quarantine thing or whatever, and then like they've got the new villain, and then like I guess is that chick from one of the other Bond movies? Is she from like one of the earlier?
No, she's new.
I thought maybe it was like tied into like one of the ones that where he like lost a girl or something, but I was like, I don't remember that happening. But
I don't think
know.
so. I think that's just a new character.
But yeah, it's another 00 possible backstabbing of James Bond again. So I like that I like this one because it's like I think since like this is gonna be Daniel Craig's last one, they're like throwing it all out there. You have like a lot more of Q. They brought back Felix again, thank God. Like, you know, Felix Leiter's there. They've got like, you know, pretty much everybody's there. So
yeah, I hope they go all out. I'm a little bit still nervous because Spectre was kind of not the best.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think like out of all of them, like they're still better than like some of the other James Bond movies. Like the Daniel Craig ones have been pretty solid compared to like some of the later Pierce Brosnan ones.
Careful. Okay.
That were like fucking CG
you're gonna say
fest.
Roger Moore.
I mean, if you
like
could make a case for like why his later ones would be bad, it's because he was just too old to be playing a fucking sexy guy. But
never.
He was like someone's grandpa. But then again, the same year they had the one with him, they had fucking Grandpa fucking Bond with Sean Connery. Like,
yep.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So
and Roger Moore was great in Boat Trip.
Yeah, it was a trip. God. So, shit. I could have sworn there was something we were going to talk about that we were going to complain about.
Harrison Ford. James Bond trailer?
No, not in that. It was something completely unrelated to James Bond.
Hmm.
I feel like it was something we were complaining about.
I have plenty to complain about.
Oh.
That's all I do on the show. Old curmudgeon.
Well, the first episode we we pretty much did that. But
I don't know. What are you hoping to see in the new James Bond movie?
I don't know. I think
They've done so many of them.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good regardless.
What are you hoping for?
Yeah, there's not really anything that I thought was left out of the trailer. That'll probably be left out of the movie. I think it's fine. It looks good. I'm glad that they've got like a new villain played by like an actor that I really like, that like has played really cool characters in the past, like in other movies and stuff. So like Rami Malek and stuff. So I think that's a good choice, and I like that they brought back Blofeld. I like that like they didn't just one-off kill him like they usually do in fucking movies. You know what I mean? They'll like kill off a bad guy and then just be like, okay, on to the next one. And you're like, that guy could have been used again in some way. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, they've pretty much got everything. I think the only thing that like could possibly like make it kind of boring for me is if like, I don't know, like I feel like sometimes like in James Bond movies they'll like it can be boring if they like switch locations a lot and it's only for like a tiny thing that they go to that location for, and I'm like, I don't know, like sometimes also like the runtime of James Bond movies is a little too long depending on some of them, so it's like, and as long as like the action isn't like so often that it becomes like you become numb to it, you know what I mean? Because like the older ones had action, but like it wasn't like non-stop, you know what I mean? It was more like spy shit. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything to be worried about. It's not like I've been like, well, so far they've been all shit, you know. But
do you think they'll bring back Batista? One of the greatest henchmen ever.
They should, but I think he's fucking dead as hell. Got his fucking,
no way.
He's got his leg pulled off. Well, he could be like Jaws, where like he comes back or something. But
yeah, Jaws survived falling out of space.
Jaws is a character that probably should have never existed, though. That's like one of those like characters that I'm not really sure what really.
How can you say that?
I mean, as far as like how ridiculous he was, like he was like crushed and all this other shit, and he would just like walk it off. He would fall from like 200,000 feet and just walk away from it. So he's probably still alive now, floating in space because he doesn't have to breathe.
Spin-off.
That's true. Jaws in space with his fucking corpse bride. Because that like tiny chick that he was with is fucking dead as shit.
Do you think in the new movie they'll drop Blofeld down a smokestack?
Probably not. only if the promise of a delicatessen is given in stainless steel.
That'd be great.
A great way to pay homage to one of the greatest actors of our generation, Christoph Waltz, is fucking dumping his character down a fucking smokestack. Like they like.
Well, he's bound to a wheelchair.
Yeah, almost as bad as when they fucking Mace Windu got fucked out of a window.
What if, as they're about to drop him, he says, "Not again"?
Or no, he should look at the fucking camera and be like, "This never happened to the other fellow."
Nice.
And then like, actually, it did.
And that's the end of the movie.
And it's like,
Ends on a freeze frame.
it's like swinging 60s, here I come, baby. What if like they pass it off at the very end to like Austin Powers, who is James Bond's son?
Oh man. Check and see if Mike Myers is in the cast list.
I'd be like crying tears, dude, in the theater of joy. Everybody else would probably be walking out pissed. I don't know. I feel like that's how it is sometimes in movies. Like when we went and saw like some of those Marvel movies, or like some of the scenes in The Last Jedi, like everybody else was like enjoying it, and I'm looking around like, am I the only one that's like a fucking asshole thinking this is not good or funny? You know what I mean? Like the humor is what I meant. But I don't know. Whatever. YZ says Harrison Ford should be the next Bond.
I don't see Mike Myers, unfortunately.
Fuck. That's okay. He'll have his day in the sun with Austin Powers 4. So apparently I heard that they're supposed to release the Ghostbusters trailer like this week. They haven't said what day, but it's like a leak that like possibly it's like called Ghostbusters. What did I think I sent that to you earlier this week, and I can't remember what it's like. Ghostbusters. Shit, I can't remember. Let me check and see here real quick.
Ghostbusters 2020?
Yeah, it had like an actual like title.
Hmm.
Let me see here. Ghostbuster previously 2020 has confirmed its title. It will be called Ghostbusters Afterlife. The confirmation coming via the BBFC. I don't know what that means. The listing confirms that the trailer for the movie is on the way, and that the movie, which has already been described as scary in places, will be a 12A. Oh wait, this is like BBC shit, so it's like they've got different ratings for.
Yeah, I think that's like a PG-13.
Yeah.
Which that's not too surprising.
Right. I'm like, it's
Hard
fucking
R.
horrifying. Hard R. It's a triple X movie. I like how in that same article it was like Ernie Hudson will return. I'm like, oh shit. They're like, surprising news: Dan Aykroyd will reprise his role as the one person that won't shut the fuck up about making another Ghostbusters movie. He's like,
there. Crystal Skull vodka.
Here's Phil to tell you more. I'm like, okay. Dude, he's like, there are 10 species of aliens, and none of them will come say hi to us because we keep fucking things up. And I'm like, can you back up where you said that there are 10 species of aliens right now, sir? It's kind of weird. Have you ever seen that documentary where he's like talks for like 2 hours in a hotel room?
No.
About, oh my god, it's so fucking weird. This was like years and years ago before he ever made like the Crystal Skull vodka shit, and that was like the first time I was like, Dan Aykroyd's like interesting, to say the least. Like,
yeah, he's a real character.
Yeah, it's like he's like the real fucking Ray Stantz. It's like, okay.
Yeah, he's weirder.
Yeah, which is like, I guess that's like, it's not hard for him to like pull on that for the movies, but like Egon was like the opposite of his character. Like the real life guy was like, didn't believe any of that shit. So it's, I don't know.
Did you ever see was it Nothing But Trouble?
Yes.
The movie he directed?
Dude,
about weird.
Yeah, I watched it, like a documentary about that, how like he didn't hate Chevy Chase, but he fucking was like, you know, Chevy Chase was a fucking asshole in that movie because he didn't even really want to do anything, and he was like a complete piece of shit. And it was like Dan Aykroyd's like the nicest guy ever, so it was like, you know.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that.
Dude, I feel like that's how Chevy Chase is in a lot of movies. That's why I'm not a huge fan of him. I feel like he just kind of phones it in, and he thinks he's like cooler and shit, but he's kind of like just an asshole. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, I'll always have a soft spot for him from Dirty Work.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and like Christmas Vacation and shit, but it's like, I mean, I don't know, I always associate with him with like Steve Martin for some reason, and Steve Martin I think is like 100 times better.
Oh yeah, and he's been in a lot more good movies.
Like Bringing Down the House with Queen Latifah.
And The Pink Panther, which I never saw.
The first one was, I watched both of them, and it has John Renault's in both of them. It's pretty funny. He's like the guy that's like the straight man to like the whole thing. Anyway,
nice.
On to the next fucking segment.
So back to House Guest.
Yes.
Starring Sinbad.
Starring McDonald's. What was I gonna say? It was something. I was gonna say something, but then fucking no one gave a shit. And then I killed myself. The end. What do you think about that?
Do you have any recommendations?
What do you mean?
It's like how we used to do recommendations.
Oh yeah.
Each episode.
I'll let you go first, since you have some, I'm sure. You're like, no, it was still
The Cobra Kai.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though I've only seen a couple episodes.
Yeah, I watched that as it came out, like, you know, first season and second season, so like last year and the year before that. But like, yeah, like you've just now started watching it, so it's nice to, you know, hear someone else that like really really liked it and is getting into it and stuff, since I think it's like one of the cooler things to come out of like this generation, to finally like be able to see the light of day as like another you know, not necessarily like it's not another movie, but it's a continuation of like the movies, which is nice because it's not exactly something I would think that like you would have to have, but it's something that like I'm glad that they did because it is like a natural progression of like the story.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's really clever. Like,
Yeah,
I've only seen the first couple episodes, but the first episode's basically all about, Johnny.
right.
His life is ruined ever since he lost the tournament
Yeah,
to
he's just
Daniel San.
never gotten over like his defeat and like how like ever since then his life's just kind of been not super great and it's been like pretty pretty bad.
Yeah, but it's just cool to see him because, like, he looks pretty much exactly like he did as a kid. I guess they both do,
Yeah.
but they're in their 50s now.
I think the best part about that too is like even though I really like the Karate Kid movies, like it always kind of sucked to me that like you saw like you got to see more of Miyagi, you got to see more of like Johnny or of um, Daniel and like even Kreese and stuff in like the third one, but like you never hear anything else about Johnny like ever again. So it's like
Yeah,
it's
and he's
nice
such a
to
memorable character.
get more depth to his character because instead of just being like some 80s bully, he actually has like backstory to him and you see kind of what made him the way he was and stuff. Um, and like just a lot of misunderstandings and like other shit like that where you're like, oh wow.
Yeah, but also, like, I think he's like, I couldn't believe how good he is in the show, and also how like they made his character feel real because, like, when he tries to set up the dojo, he's like lazy and he wants to cut corners and
Yeah.
like he's still just a bad kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you'll see there's some good stuff that they put in the first and second season that like really you kind of like it's very interesting how they play like his character and stuff. So, you can tell that like the people that made it were like like really big fans and stuff. And not to the point where like it clouded like what they were going to do with the show, like they didn't make like certain characters like ridiculously overpowered or like, you know, weird moments that were like this doesn't make sense just to like please one character or whatever. It was very like I don't know. It was good to see someone that actually understood like the characters like of like the source characters to actually like be able to get a hold of something for once because I feel like a lot of times nowadays like that doesn't happen. Like I was super pumped for like Man of Steel, but then like I saw it and I was like, because it's like they gave it to somebody that didn't understand like the source material. Like why would you give somebody that's known for making like the guy that made 300, one of the most gritty fucking movies recently, like like a movie about Superman who's like somebody that stands up for like truth and all that kind of stuff and justice and like he's like has morals. Let's make like a super gritty version of that. I'm like,
because Superman's the edgiest character.
yeah, that's what I've heard after all these years. Finally. It's just I don't know. Like how can you not whatever. You can sit here and talk about this shit forever. Fucking shit all over my fucking dead.
And you should.
I will. Here I go. I'm dead. Yeah, I think if I had to recommend something, I'd say like I had a good time playing through that newest Star Wars game, the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just completed that the other day. It was really good.
Sweet.
I would say if you're looking for a good like Star Wars game, like single player experience with story, definitely look into that game. I'm not gonna spoil it obviously because that would be fucking bullshit. But like I would definitely say there aren't enough games. There aren't enough Star Wars games out there that like have a single player story, and I think in general there aren't enough games out there that like think of story first and don't think of like how to make money off of people besides the initial purchase. Like a lot of times it's like, well, the $59.99 we made off of them is enough. Let's see if we can also get them for like all this other shit. Like,
well, didn't they kind of learn their lesson from the Battlefront?
The debacle, games? Yeah, with Battlefront 2. Yeah, you would
I
think.
never played any of those, but I heard the horror stories.
These games could have been. The problem is, those games could have been so much better without that shit. It also like would have been better if they would have actually. I don't know. You just look at like the way that the old ones play, just in videos, and they look so much better. It's like the new one. It's like there's a lot of bullshit that happens in those games. You could have like 10 people can hold down a hallway against like fucking a whole team of like 50 dudes, because it's like literally people are just chucking nades and shit and fucking all this other bull crap. It's like, okay, what fucking
you just reminded
fairness.
Me of playing Perfect Dark against a bunch of the easiest bots.
Well, if you want that same experience, get that game. And
that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fun if you're on the side of the people holding down the hallway against other people. But if you're trying to take the point, then you're fucked.
You're right about one thing. It was fun.
That's one thing that sucks in that game. You don't feel powerful enough as a hero in those games. You get to become a hero, and then you get fucking destroyed in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's no fun.
It's like, what? Yeah, I don't know. So, do we have a movie or something to fucking talk about this time? I kind of fucked up because I don't think I didn't ask about that before we fucking started that this week. So I wasn't exactly sure what was going on, what day we were going to be able to do it. So
it's all your fault.
I fucked it. I am kind of the host of these, so I take full responsibility for if this episode isn't exactly 100%. So
we should talk about No Time to Die. Coming April 2020.
Coming November 24th. Yeah, I don't really know much more than what's in the trailer. So I think we've kind of like sucked that dry.
I should have done a reaction video.
You still can. But I guess he will have reacted
then
twice.
Be fake.
I guess you're right on that one.
Aren't most reaction videos fake though?
I guess you're right. I never really thought about it like that. I do reaction videos, and they're generally live, so that's probably why they're boring, because I just watch them, and I'm not like holy shit. I don't think I've ever watched something and like actually been like as out of control as people in reaction videos. They're like,
yeah, because it's
oh my god, are you kidding me? And I'm like,
if you did that, I'd think you had a problem.
Yeah, if somebody, that'd be like a kid does that, or someone that has like an issue, like a mental issue. So it's like, which is like nothing to laugh about, but it's like, nobody normal fucking does that. Yeah, it's shit. So, I gotta know what we can talk about. What do you think? Speaking of like this, your character on screen here, help me remember. What do you think we were gonna see in the new Star Wars movie? Let's do some predictions, because that movie's coming out in a little bit, right?
Yep.
When is that coming out? December.
A couple weeks, I think.
Yeah, this is how much I have not been keeping up on this. Fucking Star Wars. What is it called? The Rise of Skywalker.
Return of the Jedi.
When everyone else is fucking dead. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, starring no fucking Skywalkers.
Or is it?
Oh, shit. Who could it be? Let's see. Maybe it's Finn. That'd be sweet. Finn Skywalker. J.J. Abrams was biting his lip. What? Fuck off.
There's a pretty good I forget where I saw it, but he was doing an interview and someone asked him about The Last Jedi.
December 20th.
He had a pretty funny, interesting comments about it.
Who? J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, because he was like trying to be, not say anything bad, but he was basically like, yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
weird.
He's like the nicest man on earth. He's like Jesus Jr.
But he was like, I definitely wouldn't have done a lot of stuff that was in that movie.
Yeah, because he fucked.
Pretty honest answer.
Yeah, because Mr. Johnson fucked over J.J. Abrams. Let me end this. Let me end this trilogy here, on the second one.
At least he just didn't do a straight up remake of Star Wars.
Would have been better.
Gotta give him credit for that.
Dude, fuck Rian Johnson. We can't get started on this. This will be like fucking all night thing.
Yeah. A big tuber.
A big That's the big tube, that rap. Gonna fold it in the toilet. Like, what? Like, okay.
Yeah, I dislike Last Jedi, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I actually liked about it was the Luke stuff, which everyone else hated.
Yeah.
So
it's all good. December 20th. So 5 days before Christmas. You're either going to get some coal in your stocking or you're going to get a good early Christmas present. Because I think it's the 25th is Christmas, right? Am I an idiot?
Yeah.
Okay, I am an idiot. Jesus.
So my prediction is that we'll see some very good corporate product.
That's a given. That's not really a prediction.
Yeah.
There's going to be some Pepsi in this fucking movie. Or sorry, it won't be Pepsi. It'll be like Star Trek and Star Wars. It'll be like Angorian Cola. Just put some weird name in front of it and call it the same thing, and that's fucking like original Star Trek style. It's some Dothraki wine. It's like, K. Fucking lazy.
If Ray
bitch.
just like cracks open a can of Pepsi after a big battle, that'd be the funniest thing ever.
Fucking Carillion Folgers.
Well, Game of Thrones had Starbucks, so it's not.
Yeah, Downton Abbey had like bottled waters on the set in the background.
See a can of
So
Pepsi
good.
chilling in like the Death Star.
On the Emperor's throne, like
and a little cup holder.
Yeah, on its own little throne. It's like mama. So if you like, have you looked at anything like spoilers? I haven't looked at any of them.
No.
Okay. So both of us, we haven't looked at anything like that. What do you think like is going to happen in this movie? Like, do you have any predictions, like, legit, that you think might happen?
Not really.
Not really?
I hope that, they find a way to bring back Luke.
Yeah. Like as a Force ghost or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that he's a big part of the movie. And Leia.
Yeah, I agree. I think it... Yeah.
I think they're still way more interesting than any of the new characters. Not that I hate the new characters, but
yeah, that's. I'm not gonna say that's all Rian Johnson's fault, but I'm gonna say that like there was nothing done to help those characters in the second movie.
Yep, I
like,
agree with
everything that was set up in the first movie was given absolutely zero. In fact, it was actually some of the characters were taken back a fucking notch. So it's kind of like,
yeah,
which is kind of sad. It's not kind of sad. It is really sad. So, but yeah, I really hope that they're involved. I honestly, they're saying this is the end of the saga, so this is like 6. Obviously, it's not the end of Star Wars. They're definitely gonna make more. They're definitely gonna like probably do ones that come after this too in a couple years. So it's not like, but as far as like the end of like what started with like Darth Vader, like Anakin Skywalker, and this is like the end of the saga for that. I would love to see like I would love to see like a Qui-Gon Obi-Wan, like Yoda, and like Luke Force Ghost thing where they like and like Anakin and all kind of come in and be like in some capacity like talk to Kylo Ren and be like try to like you know what I mean, or something happens where like they're all like I would be very surprised if Anakin Skywalker's ghost didn't show up and be like say to Kylo Ren like, dude, this is the fuck are you doing? Like, you know, because his whole like thing is like he's after, you know, he's molding his life after Darth Vader, and it's like he's like, dude, you have to let that shit go because I fucking reformed. So
yeah, I agree. We might see something like that. But I never thought about how cool it would be to tie up the prequels with the sequels, like to have a scene with Qui-Gon and Luke.
They've got to do it at the very end. Like, it's even if it was like kind of like a redo of like the very end of like Return of the Jedi where they see like the Force ghosts are there. That would be awesome. I mean, even if it's something where it's a direct copy, I mean, it would be nice to just because I don't know. People like some people have shit on the prequels. I mean, there are parts of them that are crap, parts of them that are great. It's like every franchise. Parts of like all those movies have parts where it's kind of like, eh, but like, it would be just great to see all those characters. I mean, if 9 fucking movies, like to finally see, you know, some of those characters again, it'd be awesome. I mean, obviously you're probably not going to see Han Solo because he's not like a fucking Force user, but you never know. You never know what they're going to fucking try. I don't know. What would you do if fucking Han Solo showed up as a Force ghost? Would you be like, what?
I'd rather that they have his character from Expendables 3, Drummer, show up. Be like,
they're like, where's Watto? And he's like, he's out of the picture. Be like, what?
Because for me, it's like Han Solo, then Indiana Jones,
yeah.
then Drummer is like right there at the top of best Han Solo.
Drew Mar. Dude, I as much as I like Han Solo as a character, I would not want them to like be like, well, let's bring him back for this final movie, because I'm like, he's fucking dead as shit. Like,
well, yeah, if they do that, then anyone can come back at any time.
Right. Yeah, so I think they yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I guess I don't know how they would really I don't know how like they would tie in Obi-Wan or like what's his face, Qui-Gon Jinn, because Qui-Gon Jinn never like met fucking any of these new people, so I would love to see it happen, but I don't really know why he would show up. He's just like, I'm some random dude that trained Obi-Wan, that trained Anakin, that trained, you know, that was the father of Luke, and Luke's your fucking teacher. It'd be like, I'd love to see it though. I mean, I've really wanted to see like more Qui-Gon Jinn in any capacity for a long time, but that's another thing that I think. That's one thing I think the prequels kind of did wrong, was get rid of Qui-Gon Jinn early, and also Darth Maul. Well, Darth Maul's not completely gone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the same could be said.
Came back for Solo.
Yeah, the same could be said of like what they did with some other characters too, where it's like, if I could, I would remake some things, some very minor things in The Force Awakens, and then remake a lot of things in The Last Jedi. My main thing
like
is
George Lucas now.
Well, no, I mean, like,
do you think he'll ever do a special edition of the sequel trilogy? Dude.
I hope not. Just,
Like,
I mean, not because I don't like George Lucas, but like the it was just out of control. There was no reason for any of that. Like, to me, like, touching that stuff up and making it look better was completely great. Like, it's awesome, but like adding in like stuff where like fucking animals are walking in front of the fucking camera and shit, and you're like, blocking fucking stuff you shot. Like, I don't know.
Putting back in deleted scenes that were deleted for good reason.
Like, where Jabba the Hutt fucking was like, got his tail walked on, and it's like, looks like absolute fucking shit. And then later on, he's just in like a couple movies later, he's so fat he can't fucking move. You're like, Jesus, dude, how much did this fucker eat? Between these movies, it was like a year or so, and he's so fucking fat he can't like stop Leia from choking him to death. But in this fucking one movie with Harrison Ford, he's fucking walking all over the place. I always thought that was weird. I mean, like, it was a cool scene, I think, but I think that, like, maybe they never intended to use it for a reason, and then they just put it in because they had the footage.
Right.
Which, honestly, I mean, if they left it like, hey, this is the deleted scene, let's just fully animate it and just keep it as a deleted scene as a bonus, but, like, putting it in the movie kind of, like, doesn't really work for me. Like, also, like, back then, they didn't think Jabba the Hutt was going to be a fucking slug. They thought he was just going to be some fucking fat guy in a coat.
Fat oaf.
Yeah. So. But.
Yeah, that was a debacle.
There were certain scenes that were kind of interesting, but, like, it's like going back and adding all this extra stuff doesn't make the movie better. It just kind of, like, you can tell that, like, they just wanted to add stuff to add stuff. But whatever.
So I've got another bold prediction.
Bold.
We will see the Master Codebreaker come back.
Greg Turkington?
Yeah.
Dude, before I knew who it was, I first thought it was going to be Lando. And then when it wasn't Lando, I was like, maybe it'll be fucking actually, like, Greg Turkington. And then it was just randomly, like, who was that? Benicio del Toro or some shit?
Yeah.
And it was a character that was, like the rest of the movie, underdeveloped with no fucking actual character.
I thought he was pretty great, though. He always is.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a great actor.
But
it was just...
yeah, the character, there was not much to it.
Everybody in that movie is a great fucking actor, but it's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, fucking, they could have put fucking Laurence Olivier in there and it wouldn't have fucking made a lick of difference, because if they didn't give him any fucking character, you know? It's like, what the fuck?
Laurence Olivier as Jar Jar.
As fucking Jar Jar Jr. Oh, Travis asks, have you seen the newest Rambo movie? If so, thoughts?
Oh, no, not yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, actually. We need to see that.
I think it's coming out on home video in a couple weeks.
We should watch that and do a review.
Yeah, man,
I'm sure the review will just be like, it's great. Because I'm not expecting it to be bad.
I'm kind of expecting it to be bad, unfortunately. But prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong. Okay, I'll fucking go and direct it.
Yeah, you, Mike. Prove me wrong.
Dude, do you think I could have made a better Star Wars movie, like Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Thank you. I know you could have, definitely.
I already have, in my mind.
Do we want to get on this rabbit hole? Or have we already gone?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, we're now going to switch over, I guess, to Last Jedi talk for a second, even though we already have. Earlier you said you had issues with that movie for different reasons. You know, obviously, I don't know if we've really discussed it at length on this podcast. Maybe we'll have to do one episode where we completely talk about Last Jedi. As far as I know, maybe that'll turn into that in like 5 seconds here. But we have differing opinions on this movie. You liked Luke's, you know, arc and stuff, which is completely fine because, you know, everybody has opinions and stuff. But I think we're both in agreement that, like, the writing in that movie did no service to any of the characters. Like, and, like, or, well, not any, but I should say, like, most of the new characters and, like, a lot of the stuff didn't make any sense as far as, like, you know. But, like, you said specifically that there were things that you would change about that movie, like, that were kind of, like, you had your own ideas of why Like, what things you thought were shit? Like, what were those? I don't know if we'd ever talked about that before.
Yeah, well, like that was the first Star Wars movie ever where within the first minute or so, I knew something bad was happening because like right off the bat,
Are you talking
Poe
about
was
the
making
joke?
like a yo mama joke or
Yep.
something,
Yep, exactly. That was
and I was like,
actually where that's
ugh,
what I was talking about earlier when I said that whole
the
thing
tone was
about
all off.
the Marvel humor, which it's not always like like horrible, but like certain movies it works with, like Guardians of the Galaxy, like when Iron Man's involved, he's pretty good at it. Spider-Man. But like you can't everybody be fucking like joking it up and shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Not that I don't want humor in the movies, but it just was like it didn't work
it
at
need,
all.
it's a different kind of humor in Star Wars movies. Like it's got to be like it's got to be clever. It can't just be like I don't know. Yeah, like that was
Yeah.
one that like that
So
was
as soon
one
as that happened,
thing.
like a minute in, I was like, huh, uh
Everybody get up. Start moving for the exits.
oh. And then you have a scene with a new character who's Rose's sister, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was a super like manipulative scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, well, I wanted to see like the characters from the last movie on like a new adventure, but I guess we got this instead. And she has a death and it's in slow motion, and I was like, wait a minute, there's no slow motion in Star Wars.
Right.
Like that's not the way Star Wars works.
Yeah.
Like, the only slow motion in any of the movies was when Luke had the weird vision inside the cave, but that was like, because he was in some kind of weird place. It wasn't just part of the normal story.
Yeah. Actually, the only other time I remember where there was some sort of like slowing is like in The Force Awakens when like you first see Kylo Ren and I think Poe tries to shoot him or something, and like he stops the blaster shot, and it's like slowly moving forward. And that's the only time I ever... It's like a slowing effect, not an actual like part of the movie that slows down. But it's like... But yeah, everything else, it's... Yeah.
Yeah, so then Rose gets introduced, and, you're supposed to care about her because her sister died, who's a new character that...
You just...
It's like, wait a minute, what about all the other characters from the last movie that I liked? When are they going to do something?
Yeah, also, like, I don't think there's ever been, like, a poor fucking actress that's been done worse than fucking that actress. Like...
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It's like they started off, like, making her this, like, badass, like, I'm gonna report this Finn guy for trying to, like, leave the Resistance and shit and being a defector and all this crap. And then it swings at the end of the movie to love is the answer. Like, the only reason I'm in this movie is to be a love interest for Finn, even though he doesn't love her, and he loves, like, I think he had a thing for what's-her-face, Rey. At least I thought. You know what I mean? Not that I didn't know if Rey liked him back, but it was one of those things where you kind of felt like he did almost everything he did in the first movie was to, like, protect her and to kind of, like, because they were together for pretty much the whole movie for the first movie. I think that's another reason why I wasn't a huge fan of, like, the second one is, like, they took, like, this, like, dynamic they had in the first movie of, like, Finn and Rey being together. They split them up, like, and they never see each other.
Duo? Well,
yeah.
Too bad.
It'd be like if they were like, let's split up fucking, like, Han and Luke for, like, the entire fucking movie. Like, I guess they did kind of do that. Didn't they?
Well, yeah, but
they had also... The thing is...
the whole movie.
Yeah. But, like...
Their goal is to... Like, Luke's goal is to get back to him.
Yeah. Well, they also... It'd be like if they split up Han, Luke, and Leia. Because... Fucking...
They pretty much did for the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because Poe is on that fucking ship the whole time, arguing semantics about, like, who's in charge, trying to, find out what's going on, and then you find out that actually...
Which, that's a pretty exciting thing for your favorite characters, to have them be totally clueless for the entire movie.
Clueless, and then you find out that, like, he wasn't exactly in the wrong, but like she wasn't in the wrong either because she was doing shit to save everybody, and it's like there was no reason for her not to tell him other than to think that like he was a fucking rebel defector even though he just fucking blew up a dreadnought or some shit, and it's like, what?
It's pretty poor writing.
Yeah, and then have Finn go off with this chick he's never met until now to go find this code breaker that they need to, like, couldn't they just fucking get a droid to do it? Like, and then, like, you know, I understood Rey's motivation. She went to go find Luke and to actually possibly be trained. But, like, you start off and these characters, like, I don't know, I got ahead of myself there. So, what were you saying, though? So you said, like, yeah, you, like, knew something was wrong with that, where you were like,
Yeah, but then when they got to, like, the Luke stuff, I thought it was great. Very, very original.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything about this part of the movie.
I think it could have been more boring if he was just like, nope, everything's still great. I've had the perfect life.
It would have made, like, no sense either.
Right.
Well, I mean, it would have made no sense why he was out there, because his explanation for, like, why he was out there would have made even less sense. Because, like, I think everybody in the theater thought the reason why he was out there is because he, like, somehow fucking crashed his ship or some shit, or it was fucked up, but it was like he had put himself into isolation. And the narrative that they gave fit that. So at least, like, it wasn't, like, exactly what everybody, I think, wanted, but, like, at least it made sense for what they wrote for his character. You know what I mean?
And also for what George Lucas wrote for the whole trilogy, because, like, Luke realized what all the other Star Wars fans slowly realized is, like, the Jedi's messed up. Like, their whole philosophy is kind of bogus.
Yeah, it is, but it's not.
Which people don't want to accept that, but that's what the movies have told us up to that point.
Yeah, the problem is they don't explain any of that. To a big part.
Yeah, they do.
Not really. I mean, they don't.
The Jedi
No. I mean,
is what led to the Emperor.
No. I'm saying, like, they don't explain that can be, like, changed or whatever. Like, they kind of just, like, they kind of just go to one extreme to another. So instead of it being like Luke, instead of becoming, like, a Jedi that would, like, love and, like, you know, all that kind of stuff, which he, like, I feel like did and stuff, he went to, like, almost to the opposite end where he, like, became, like, a Sith almost and fucking tried to kill his fucking nephew, and it was like, what? But like I said, that was what they wrote for his character.
He thought about killing him. I
mean, that's pretty much, like, that's worse than fucking almost Kylo Ren. Jesus Christ, dude. He fucking was gonna kill him in his fucking sleep. Can you believe such a thing, Math? Killing a fucking poor innocent babe while he snoozed. While he's on a snooze cruise. Also, I think that was I think that was one of the most horrifying scenes I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. Because, like, his face, like, when he, like, woke up, and you see, like, Luke's face or whatever, he's like, oh! I'm like, Jesus! I'm like, okay, can I go one-on-one with Palpatine instead, please? What the fuck?
It's just because he had too much Just for Men in his beard.
Just for Men. He's like, fuck it. I'm gonna drink this milk out of this. That was another thing that, like, there were, like, parts of that, like, island scene where I was like, this is, like, suffering from more of that, like, Poe stuff where it was, like, when he was, like, drinking that nasty milk, I thought I was gonna throw up in the theater.
I love that.
Did you?
Super Star Warsy. Oh, yeah. That was great.
Oh, my God.
It was hilarious. That's the kind of humor I like.
Gross out humor for babies.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
It took us like what 4 minutes before we started disagreeing about the movie because we got to the Luke part and it was like downhill. I'm trying not to be an asshole and fucking ripping into it, but I won't. I don't want. To be
Also,
that guy.
just because I was so happy to see Mark Hamill in like a big role and doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean,
He was
regardless,
awesome in
like,
that movie. It's one of his best performances.
yeah, I mean, Mark Hamill's gonna be great in whatever you give him, so it's not like I thought that like his performance was bad. It was just like the rest of the movie, like the writing. I thought was like way off base. But that's just like I said. That's my what I was expecting was completely different than what I got, which was that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's what it is. You know what I mean? Like,
but I wasn't fine.
I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, fucking sit here and complain about it for fucking 2 years? Yeah, probably.
That's pretty much what we've been.
But
doing.
what am I gonna do about it? I can't, you know.
Unsee it. Forget about it.
I mean, it's already ruined the fucking like trilogy that came before it. So, what else can you do? I will say that
like we should end on something positive. Too much negative talk on this show.
Yeah, I feel like last time all it was negative talk. We talked about Terminator the whole time.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah. Do we have any? Is there any? You guys got any questions right now? I'm gonna let people like think about it for a second here. I will say for like pretty much like The Force Awakens, I'll go to that, and because I don't think that movie was a perfect movie. I liked it a lot more than The Last Jedi, but like it was obviously like a remake of like A New Hope. They played it very safe, but like there were parts I wasn't a huge fan of. I didn't like how like there was never a reuniting of like the three main characters from the original trilogy in any way. Like,
yeah, total botch.
That was kind of a fuck up. And if they weren't going to do it in that movie, they shouldn't have fucking killed off Han Solo. They should have waited to do that. You know, so that like, you know. But I say almost the more criminal thing is like in the fucking sequel, when he finds out that Han Solo, like what happened to him, they don't even show his fucking reaction. They're just like, they cut to like fucking some bullshit with like Snoke and Kylo Ren or something in the next scene. It's like, why?
Yeah, it is pretty sad that the most touching moment was for me was when Luke winked at C-3PO, which was Mark Hamill's idea that he just came up with because like they didn't even have them interacting at all in the script.
Yeah, dude, don't even fucking goddamn it.
Can you believe that?
Yes, I can. I can completely believe it. The rest of the fucking movie was like that. They like forgot that they had these characters, and then they were like, "Shit, we gotta have him say something." Well, let's have this Captain Phasma character that was a badass in the last movie, fucking get fucking killed. Let's have Admiral Akbar get killed off screen. Let's have fucking like Rising Troll, Admiral Akbar dead as fuck. Like I didn't even know he died until after the movie was over, and like somebody said something like, "What the fuck? I can't believe they killed off Admiral Akbar." And I was like, "Wait, he was in the movie?" And they're like, "Yeah, he fucking died off screen in that fucking explosion."
Admiral Akbar. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Kylo Ren gave no fucks that he could have killed his mom there. It was like he knew, and it was like, I mean, I guess he killed his dad, but it's like, I felt like there was more of a connection between him and his mother, like, to a degree, but I guess not.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, Rose character going down the shitter. Finn in the first movie somewhat, I thought, had, like, somewhat of a Force, like, sensitivity. I guess not, because they didn't do anything with that. Fucking, like...
Yeah, they set up the characters with a lot of potential that just really wasn't. They didn't do anything with, at least not in the second one.
Yeah, Poe. I think that's my biggest problem. Is it like beyond what they did to Luke, in my opinion? Even if you take that out of consideration, the rest of the characters got done so dirty, dude. It was like he was given like the golden egg and he fucking threw it away. He just like was like, I want to make my own movie. It's like, well, then don't make the fucking one that came after this one, you fucking cunt. It's fucking... It's ridiculous. Like, I think we've talked about this maybe, but, like, if I wrote the first half of a story, and I was like, Matt, finish this story. Or you write the middle of this story, and I'll finish it. And you wrote the middle, and, like, the fucking
my secret mission was to sabotage you.
Yes! Pretty much! You fucking kill off the main character or something. And I'm like, okay. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? They killed off Han in the first movie. They killed off Luke in the second movie. And the only fucking person that died in real life is fucking in the third movie, still alive, apparently. Good fucking job, guys.
They tried to kill off the actor by dropping a door on his leg and crushing him into dust.
He's like...
They tried to grind his bones to make their bread.
Fucking FIFA phone, fuck the audience. Dude, Dude, and like, okay, so like, also like, I've never been a huge fan of Poe, because like the person was like squeezed himself into the fucking rest of the movie because he was supposed to die in the first one, and then he was like, I should live, so they let him live. So whatever, fuck that guy. But you know, I'm sure he's a great actor. But like, they fucked him hardcore in the second one because he comes off looking like an idiot. Because in the first movie, they're like, man, he's a great pilot, and he's fucking awesome. In the second movie, it's like, he takes on that dreadnought, which that whole scene itself is fucking stupid. Because you can't shoot a fucking tiny ship because it's so close to you. Like, you don't have cannons fucking that are tiny. Like, yeah. But like, beyond that, like, he almost fucking dies because something happens with the ship, and like BB-8 has to fucking fix it by slamming its head into the fucking shit. And I'm like, so you're not a good pilot, you're just lucky. Like, what? I thought they were gonna say that like Poe was like related to like one of the clones or something from the original, like from the prequels, or like he was like another, like a like from like, you know, what's it called, Jango Fett or something. Maybe he was related to him somehow, because like Jango Fett was supposed to be, I mean, they made all these clones off of him, so you would think he was like the best of the best, you know, like kind of like how they made clones off like Big Boss, like Solid Snake's like guy. Like, he's supposed to be the ultimate fucking like badass, but like, no, he's just some guy, you know. No, fucking Finn doesn't have any like things with the Force. He can just pick up a lightsaber and use it against somebody that's been fucking using the Force for a while.
He's a Mary Sue.
And then they have Rey that it's like, yeah, there's nothing good with you. You're just able to use the Force somehow too. Why don't you just have everybody pick up lightsabers? Fuck it. Like, oh wait, okay, we got a question. Wisey says, "Are you guys watching The Mandalorian?" Yes. I have not. Okay, so I haven't completed the latest episode, but I watched the one before that. Which
the latest one was the best one yet.
That's what I've heard. They've been getting better and better.
I know. It's pretty great.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. Like, Star Wars. Until recently, I was like, man, Star Wars is fucked. But like, there's hope. The Mandalorian's great. Star Wars game is great. It's like, if you get people on it that respect it, like respect the source material and aren't out to like, you can have people make their own vision of it, but like, it can't be in the middle of a fucking trilogy. Like,
yeah.
And so like, that's not entirely true, but like, you look, I'm not a huge fan of the Marvel movies, but you look at that and they do one thing better than anybody. They have one guy, that Kevin Feige or whatever guy, that's in charge, like oversees all of it, and he's like, listen, when you're making this movie, you know, make sure to at least have this, this, and this in it, because we're going to tie it over to this movie. And it can't kill this guy, and it can't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I cannot believe for the life of me why Disney was like, fucking do whatever you want. Like, you don't need to fucking worry about any of this. Kill off whoever you want to kill off. Fucking, we don't need any of these characters to survive for the next fucking movie. And I'm like, there was just no plan.
Kill who you want to kill, live who you want to live. The Addams Family.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this episode was not long enough to discuss all the complaints I have with The Last Jedi. But, like, it's not worth the gray hairs.
You got to wrap up here, so we should have some final thoughts that end on a positive note.
Okay. Yeah, do you have anything to say? Positively?
Yeah, I'm glad Matt asked about The Mandalorian because it's pretty great. And I think just in general, like, all the talent's in TV now as opposed to movies. Like, some of the best movies I've seen in the past few years are actually just TV shows.
I completely agree because when we were talking about, like, Superman earlier, it's like, I think there was an article where, like, somebody was asking, like, how do you do Superman these days? Like, how do you make people give a shit about Superman? And I'm like, they've been doing that on, like, the CW for, like, 8 years now. So it's literally the only people that don't understand how to make stories relevant and good are the people in fucking movies. Because they're trying to, like, make these big budget movies with, like, shit,
appeal to every single person
with shit stories that nobody cares about because it's so homogenized, where it's like, give it style and give it, like, the source material, understand that, and then people will come off of that.
Yeah.
It's like, who's this movie?
I agree.
Who are these things catered to? When you don't cater to the fans first and foremost, not only are you not catering to the people that, like, are for sure going to go see your movie, you're definitely not going to get some random fucker to come see it. Like, who the fuck's just going to walk in and go see a movie called, like, you know, I don't know, like Moon Knight, like a Marvel character, if, just in general, you know what I mean? And if it's a shit movie, the fucking fans aren't going to stick around. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I'd say that the one thing that I always say is, like, a movie can be, like, I think the worst thing a movie can be is boring. If a movie's boring and unforgettable, like, it's fucked. And I feel like that's what, like, some movies are these days. If it had, you know, any sort of, you know, even if it's bad, but where it's got funny shit in it, like bad funny, it's worth rewatching, like The Room or like Birdemic. But if it's just like,
The Room is classic.
If it's just straight up like bad, like, and boring, then just, it's not even worth making. Like, but yeah, okay, so positive, Mandalorian, that's great. Hopefully this Ghostbusters trailer will come out and it'll be good. I'm pretty confident it'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh, and Resident Evil 3, I heard that's supposed to, like, they're supposed to premiere a trailer for it, like, next week at the Game Awards.
Nice.
So, like, the Resident Evil 2 remake that they did, they're doing the third one that's supposed to come out next year, apparently. So, that's something to look forward to. I like that one, but I never, like, I played it, but I didn't, like, play it through, like, multiple times. And maybe they'll hopefully do Resident Evil 0, because I felt like that game was almost unplayable. Because you have to, like, drop shit a lot, and it's, like, fucking a stupid mechanic.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else?
Cool, man. Another show in the books.
Yeah. One last question.
Mission accomplished.
If there's one Star Wars character that you could have come back for this last movie, who would it be? For serious.
Stop, Jar Jar.
Okay. Jar Jar Binks. Coming back. And that's
Sebulba.
Boss Nass, Jar Jar, Sebulba, and fucking Dexter Jettster.
It's back. Oh, yeah, man.
He'll be their cook. Fucking scratching his ass and giving everybody fucking, like, the sickness. Cool.
Cool, man.
I will talk to you later. We will try to do this again next week if you can. I guess we're gonna try to keep doing this like weekly if we can. It just depends. I know that like right now is like your busy time of the year, so that might not work, but we'll see.
All right, we'll make it happen.
Make it happen. Next time I'll actually have a fucking topic instead of just like nothing, and then we shit on fucking Last Jedi.
There's always that.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Peace out.
Peace, man.
See ya.
See ya. Admiral Akbar.